Action.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
Nice to see you again. I suppose we'll let's start off by introducing ourselves again.
Hello, my name is Rachel Lawson.
Hello, my name's Alistair Sharples.
And my name's Carl Cameron, and we're three Aspies, three people on the autistic spectrum from the wonderful city of Hull. So what we wanted to talk about today was about kind of like almost like starting at the beginning, sort of some of our stories, really, I suppose. I wanted to talk about school and what school was like for us and some of the challenges that we faced. So are you happy to go again first, Rachel?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So my education story is quite a long, drawn-out mess. But basically from day one, I didn't have a good time at primary school, especially because none of the teachers were in any way willing to make any concessions for me at all, and they were basically treating me like a bad neurotypical instead of treating me as a neurodivergent person. And they, anytime that I did anything, they said that I was being bad, I was being naughty, I was ignoring them, I was doing everything wrong. And even when I tried to explain, with my very limited child vocabulary, that I'd misunderstood or that I hadn't received correct instructions or anything like that, nothing was done. And the other students bullied me a lot because, again, I did not act the way that any of the rest of them did. And so they saw me as a very easy target, and I would react when they would bully me. I would react, and as a child with a limited vocabulary and with limited skills of managing all my difficulties, I would react by lashing out and by trying to just hit and make those other students back off and leave me alone. And that obviously just encouraged them because they thought, hey, we can get a rise out of this girl. And as well, because I would then hit them, I would be the one who was punished. And again, the other students found that, a massive game of see who can provoke the biggest reaction from Rachel and see who can get her in the most trouble. And then the teachers would say to me, well, if you'd come to us when they were bullying you, we would have done something. But now we can't do anything because you reacted. And so now we can't punish them, which I thought was a massive, again, even as a child, I thought that doesn't seem right. Maybe I didn't react in the best way, but you're saying that because I've reacted, you can't do anything. Surely punish both of us. If I've done something punishable, then they have also done something punishable by provoking that reaction. And I think the main issue was that I didn't have any kind of formal diagnosis until year 5, year 6. And so even though my mother was going in saying she is not neurotypical, she's got these difficulties and things need to be put in place to protect her and to help her, they were saying, no, we don't care. You've got nothing, we don't care. And then when I got a diagnosis, I wasn't diagnosed with autism yet, but I did get a diagnosis of ADHD. And even then, they didn't want to know. So that school just didn't care. The students didn't care about me and the teachers didn't care. The teachers were actually more bullies than the students, unfortunately, which is a very sad thing when the people that are meant to be protecting you are the ones who are actually hurting you more. And there were some teachers that were particularly, as an adult, I think it would be called psychological abuse, is what they were doing to me. And there was this one teacher in particular, she was a very nasty woman, and there's one vivid recollection I have where I had been completely engrossed in what I was doing and hadn't heard the instruction that she was going to leave the classroom and go and do something, and no one was to leave their seat because there was I can't remember what it was, but there were sharp objects on one of the side surfaces, and no one was allowed to get up and leave their desk because there was a safety danger. I did not hear that. It was not communicated clearly to me at all. And so I got up and I went nowhere near this surface, but I got up, and another student told on me when the teacher came back, and I was shouted at and I was sent to the head teacher, and I explained to the head teacher my version of the story, and that was fine, and I got sent back to my classroom. And when I got back, the teacher said, "Did you tell them everything?" And I said, "Yes." And said, "Did you tell them that I told you not to get up?" And I said, "No, because I didn't know that." And so she marched me back to the head teacher to make me tell him her version of events. And then the end result of that was basically she was told that she needed to make sure that I had understood instructions. And the way she did this was by giving instructions to the entire class, walking to my desk, kneeling down, getting about this far from my face, and saying, "Have you understood that? Do I need to repeat it? Good, you've got it. Now I don't want you to disobey that." And it was absolutely horrible.
I'm sure that everyone can sort of feel, and one of the things I think autistic people particularly feel really strongly is we've got a real strong sense of natural justice.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that, from Rachel's story, which is far from unique, Uta Frith once said that bullying amongst autistic people is so common that it's almost diagnostic in itself.
Yeah.
It's so prevalent. But I mean, just the whole sense of misunderstanding, the lack of interest is just...
Definitely.
Yeah.
What's your experiences, Alistair?
I mean, well, primary school wasn't so bad. I was probably one of the more clever ones, but it started more in secondary school. It was a different environment, noisy, difficult to concentrate, and I mean, important I didn't get a diagnosis of Asperger's until I was 21. That didn't help, but it was people bullied me, psychological. I mean, they'd never lay a finger on me, but that leaves more scars, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
They'd say, they'd make jokes that I don't have any friends, and not that I particularly wanted any. And the teacher would tell me, like, calm down. That's the miracle with the magic words. But yeah, after a while, I just stopped going in year 7. And then in the second year, I was in special needs, where I was actually put with people that were naughty, which didn't help at all. I was under the same heading as them. So it was a very difficult experience. I mean, people used to say I sounded like a girl, so I went for a while not speaking at all. And probably because of my autism, I used to hate shaving, so I had a beard about this consistency on my face, and that caused the bullying. It was just, I'm different in so many ways, and that's the root of bullying, isn't it?
Yeah, very similar experience, sadly. Like I said, it's almost diagnostic bullying. I left school in 1979, believing I was stupid. The bullying started, I did no qualifications whatsoever into that because I didn't go to school for the last 2 years. It was a violent, bewildering place, school was. For the last, maybe started in the third year of secondary school, getting my mark and jumping the fence. By the time I got to the last 2 years of school, every single morning I would go get my mark, jump the fence, go and sit in my bedroom, come back at break, get my mark, jump the fence and go home, and that was it. So it's no surprise that I came out of school with no qualifications whatsoever, believing I was stupid and I with no possible chance of any academic achievement. The bullying started for me, I would say, at around 7 years of age. For me, it was violent. It was frequently violent. Whatever social skills you need for that kind of schoolyard banter, I didn't have it at all. And because I find banter really difficult anyway, and I find it really difficult to tell whether somebody's joking or not. Sometimes I would overreact, sometimes I would underreact. I just whatever skills I needed. And like you were saying before, they just enjoy poking a stick, don't they? See what reaction you can get out of it, you become an easy target. Yeah. And I'm afraid a lot of children, it becomes like almost maybe it's a neurotypical thing, I don't know, but like almost like a pack mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when people say, well, just ignore them, take no notice. It's like, well, what would you say if I said that to you? Be honest. Yeah. That's just an easy way out for you.
And then also it doesn't help as well that then my greatest memory of school, to be honest with you, was not so much that. It was the terror of being at home every single night waiting for what was going to happen to me the next day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had sleep and diet and everything.
Every day my mum would come and wake me up for school, and I would be kicking, I would be screaming, I would be begging her, don't make me go. And she had to, she legally required.
Absolutely, yeah.
She said, like, I can't, you have to go. And she told me years later that she did at one point consider pulling me out and homeschooling me because it was just that bad. But the problem was I compartmentalised everything, and home was not for work. So if she had homeschooled me, it would have been even more of a struggle because I would have just not done any work. So I had to keep going to school.
There's too many distractions.
Yeah, exactly. And I would have just, and homework was a nightmare, so it would have just been that every day. And
I don't think I ever did any homework at all. I don't believe so.
No. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. At school, I was very studious. I got very good marks. I got a lot of A's in my GCSEs. I went on to do A levels and got A's. I did do well at school, but as soon as I came home, I was like, no, I'm shutting off. This is not school anymore. This is time for relaxing and me time. And so it didn't work. But
that's right. It was always with me. It was like, I'll do my homework once if there's nothing good on TV. I'll do my homework once I've checked my email, etc.
And then it would be like on the Monday morning, I'm like, I've not done any of it. Now I need to get it done, and I'd be screaming. But every day I would just be begging my mum, don't make me go. And I would have to go, and it was horrible. And I used to think I was a pessimistic person because my understanding was if you always think bad things are going to happen, you're pessimistic. And I later came to realise it wasn't that I thought bad things were going to happen, it's that I knew they were going to happen.
Acting on previous experience.
Yeah, like I wasn't pessimistic, I was a realist because I knew that when I went to school, everything was going to go wrong, bad things were going to happen.
Why would today be different?
Exactly. It was just that my life was miserable. It wasn't that I thought everything was horrible. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying this to say how ace I am, right? But I've got a postgraduate qualification in autism and Asperger's. I'm a second-year master's student. I've got a formal teaching qualification. I taught at an FA college. Because it turns out that you support people, and Rachel alluded to this about having the right environment and about people who understand your learning style, who create an environment that is conducive to learning and supporting of autistic people. Do you know, it's remarkable what we can actually achieve.
Yeah, and all the A's that I got were all in subjects where I had a teacher who understood me and was willing to help me. And it was amazing. Well, the thing, my main issues were in primary school, and when I got to secondary school, the bullying still happened, but the teachers were so much more receptive to my needs and to helping me. And like on the first day, some incident happened, and my mum got a call and said, "Oh, there's been a bit of an issue. Rachel's had an altercation with us." And my mum was like, "Okay," she was prepared for the usual spiel of your daughter's naughty. We need to keep an eye on it. And they said, "We just wanted to let you know, we've punished the boy who started this, and we just want to let you know so that if Rachel needs anything." And I was just like, "What?" And my mum was like, "What? Like you actually
seems too good to be true."
Yeah, you actually care about me and protecting me, and you know that I was provoked and that I wasn't just a bad child going out looking for a fight. I was trying to do my work. I was trying to be good, and then poking the bear came along, and the people came trying to get a reaction." And they got it.
What impact do you think then that your school days have on your self-esteem and the next step to life, which
Massive.
is obviously leaving school?
Yeah, absolutely massive.
Definitely.
I think that I've still got so many issues with my self-esteem and my self-confidence, and I'm constantly thinking that I'm wrong, and that if I'm wrong, people are angry at me. They're going to hate. Like, I gave the wrong change at a shop once. I went in, I gave them. I thought it was a 20p, it was a 50p, something or something like that. And they said, "No, this is the wrong change." And in my head, I was thinking, this woman at the checkout, she hates me. I'm holding up the entire line. Everyone hates me. They all want me to die. I'm useless.
Yeah.
And obviously, I just went, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Took the 20p back, gave her a 50p. It was all fine. But I left thinking, everyone hates me.
I will do exactly the same.
Yeah.
I automatically assume that I am in the wrong.
Yes.
Automatically.
Yeah.
And unless I can't tell whether somebody likes me or not in any case, I just can't tell. So I will, and because of my previous life experiences, I will just automatically assume, unless somebody comes along and tells me that they think I'm a decent enough kind of guy, I'll assume that they don't like me.
It's the snowball effect, because it's like one thing goes wrong and it's like, oh, here we go, what's going to go wrong next? And that attitude makes you more susceptible to it. It's a very vicious circle.
And it's horrible because, like I said, I'm a 23-year-old woman, and I can't cope with anything going wrong because I just think I've messed up, everyone hates me, I'm going to be punished.